Hello and welcome to the Happiness and Self-Worth Solution. In this video, we're going to continue our discussion about discovering your talents and your gifts as a way to maximize your strengths. Now, as a review, remember a talent is a naturally recurring pattern of thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. And a skill is something that is learned and can become better over time with practice. And we talked about last time this equation that a strength is when you put a talent and a gift together with your skills, the things that you have learned, and your experience. And when you put them together, you actually become more productive, you become more effective, you feel better about yourself. So instead of focusing on your weaknesses, you can focus on what you do best. Imagine having a day, a month, a year, where you focus on nothing but what you do best, so that your weaknesses are put in that trash can and they stay there. Today I want to share with you a powerful formula that I call triples. And it really is a formula that spells the word triples. And it's based on the idea that people who focus on their talents and their gifts are 3 times more likely to say that they have a high quality of life. So today I'm going to help you have that high quality of life by learning how to discover your talents and your gifts. So let me jump right into the formula. T stands for top of mind or gut reactions. When you have a top of mind reaction or a gut reaction to what happens to you, it's an indicator that there's an underlying gift and a talent. For example, let's say that your teenager or someone else that you know wrecks your car and they call you and say, "Oh my gosh, I just wrecked your car." If your first inclination, your gut reaction is to ask, "Oh my gosh, are you okay?" that points to one talent. If your gut reaction is, "Hey, what's wrong with the car? Can you drive it?" that points to another talent. One may be the talent and gift of compassion or empathy. The other may very well be the talent of accountability or responsibility. And notice I'm not talking about them in judgment. I'm not saying one is better than the other. It's just the way it is. If you're a supervisor at work and someone calls in sick, or someone calls in and says, "I can't come in today because my children are sick," if your gut reaction is the well-being of your employee or the well-being of their children, that probably points to the gift of empathy or compassion. If it is that, "Oh my gosh, now I have more work to do," then your gift and your talent may very well be accountability or responsibility. It doesn't mean that one is better than the other. It's just your gut reactions to what happens to you points to what your gift and your talent is. And when you can recognize that and use it, life becomes a little bit easier. The R in the triples formula stands for recurring situations, themes, or requests. For example, if you're always being asked to do a certain thing, or you always find yourself in a certain situation, chances are there's a gift and a talent underneath there. If you have friends that are always sharing their drama with you, pulling you into their drama, asking you for your advice, it's because they see a talent or a gift in you that you may not be able to see in yourself. You could be part of a charity and they always ask you to do the fundraising. Well, the reason they always ask you to do the fundraising is because you can get it done. That is pointing to a gift and a talent that you have. So instead of feeling burdened or put down because people always ask you to do a certain thing, or that you always find yourself in the same situation, you need to take a hard look at that, because I would bet that you have a gift and a talent. And that's why people are asking you to do this and why you always find yourself in that situation. The I stands for insights from others. Now, we all have this person in our life. Who is that person that believed in you more than you believe in yourself? Who is that person that told you things about yourself that you would have never recognized? It could be a high school teacher, a manager, a coach, a parent, an aunt, an uncle, a grandfather, a best friend. You need to listen to these people because they have insights about you that you are not able to see. And what they are seeing is a gift and a talent. And you need to pay attention to that because they are seeing what everybody else sees. And when you use that gift and talent, it's going to make life better, more effective, more productive. You'll feel better about yourself, and you'll feel better about the situations that you find yourself in. The P in the triples formula stands for passions and yearnings. Now, I'm always in a lot of discussions about people who says, oh, I want to discover my passions. I want to know I want to discover that so I can live it. Well, your passions and your yearnings want to be heard. They want to be satisfied. And so you are always going to be able to see and feel your passions if you just start to analyze your life a little bit. In fact, I can spend an hour with someone and ask them stories about their life, about what they do, about who they think they are, what they have accomplished, what they haven't accomplished. And if I listen to the words that they use, I can pick out and point out and describe to them what their passions and their yearnings are. You have passion, you have yearnings, and they will always come out. Maybe you just need some help, but if you'd like me to help you, I'd be happy to do this for you. That in a short conversation, I can tell you what your passions and your yearnings are. The L in the triples formula stands for learning. And really what I'm talking about here is how fast you learn something. Have you ever been involved in something that just seemed like you knew what needed to be done without being told? That when you were involved with it, the learning was effortless. It was easy. It just came to you. That's an indicator that there's a talent and a gift that you are using or that you need to use. And so think about those times when it just has seemed easy for you. The E in the triples formula stands for effortless. And this is when things feel like you're just in the flow, you're just in the zone. That whatever it is that you need to do, it just doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel like a burden. It feels like you are doing what you were meant to do, like you were in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing for the right reasons. There's an indicator right there that you are using a talent and a gift. And then the S in the triples formula stands for satisfaction. How satisfied do you feel doing the things that you're doing? What are those things that have brought you the most satisfaction? What are those things that you feel the most accomplished, the most satisfied? Probably that you have been using a gift and a talent. Now, when you put this all together, maximizing your strengths, discovering your talents and your gifts, and you use them in a certain way, you use them in the best way possible, you are really learning and using those elements about who you are more than anything else. It's not about what you do, it's about who you are. Use the triples formula to discover your talents and your gifts. And when you put them to use, life becomes easier. Let me share with you this long list of talents and gifts. And there's probably about 50 here. And I'm sure that as you're looking at this list, you can find your gifts and talents as well. Some of them are going to become very evident to you as you start to look at the triples formula and apply it to your life, because this is who you are. This is not just about what you do. And let me share with you a couple of mine. One of my top strengths, one of my top gifts, I should say, is ownership. And I want to give you a warning, and I want to discuss something really important with you when it comes to discussing talents and gifts, that there is a blessing and a curse that comes with each one of your talents. For example, when you misuse a talent or you overuse a talent, it's going to create some conflict for you. Ownership for me is a great gift and a talent to have. That means that I can be given a project and I can see it through to the end. When I'm given a project, I kind of know what to do and I'm able to own it and take responsibility for it. But the curse side of ownership is that sometimes I own things that don't belong to me. For example, sometimes I own someone else's reaction. Sometimes I own a problem that's not my problem and I want to solve it. Another one of my top strengths, my top gifts and talent is that of a collector. Now, when I first saw this, I really questioned it because I'm not really a collector. I don't collect stamps, I don't collect coins, I don't collect anything. But once I really started to think about it, I do collect things. I collect stories, and I love to tell stories, as you can probably tell. But I want you to be aware that when you have a talent and a gift, it comes with some responsibility. And the responsibility is to not overuse it and to really watch for the blessing and the curse side of it. And here's how I'd like you to put this to work. As I said before, I'd like you to be an observer. I'd like you to observe your life. I'd like you to observe your activities and try to see the underlying gift and talent. Remember in the last video I had you write down 5 things that you do really well? Now, using the triples formula, I'd like you to go back to that list and decode it. Decode it using not only the triples formula, but this list of talents and gifts that I have on the screen, so that you can see what is underneath your strengths. What is underneath those things that you do really well? Because your talents and your gifts are going to apply to many other aspects of your life. Because remember, a strength is when you put your talents and gifts together with your skills, your factual knowledge, and your experience. And when this happens, life becomes a little bit easier. Because it comes from the inside out, it's more about who you are. And then when you maximize your strengths, you feel better about yourself. You feel more worthy. You feel more capable of doing hard things. And that's why this is a significant part of the I Am Strong formula, because it helps you learn that you can do hard things. Another thing that I'd like you to do is to ask 5 friends, 5 coworkers, 5 family members, and have them tell you what they think your gifts and talents are. I can guarantee that it's going to have some overlap. They're going to tell you similar things, and you should pay attention to that because they know you. They have insight about you, and they can tell you what your gifts and your talents are. Another thing that you can do is to get some help. And I'd be willing to have a session with you. I'd be willing to help you discover your talents, discover your passions, and be able to help you put them to use to start to feel your self-worth grow from the inside out. In the next video, I'm going to talk about something pretty significant as part of the I Am Strong formula. I'm going to be talking about self-recognition. And as I mentioned earlier, this is the power that comes from not being dependent on others to tell you that you're good, to tell you that you're worth success and happiness. So in the next video, we'll talk about self-recognition, and I'll see you then.